Hi, my name is Roberta Waller. I own the property adjacent to the Coral Rock House, just east of it, the corner of 9th and Washington. I've paid the price. The property's not been maintained properly for many years. I've complained hundreds of times to the city that this failure of being maintained has caused me financial damage. I've lost a tenant. I've had to reduce the rents, and the total environment of the street is suffering greatly. And now I feel I'm being harmed again because they're trying to build a building that's kind of out of character to the neighborhood. There's no parking, there's 4 stories, there's going to be a higher density, and we could have more character and charm to the structure, not so blatantly modern in the middle of a deco district. And I also respectfully request that if they're permitted to change the character of the neighborhood by building this kind of building and knocking down a historic building, then, and if you're allowing this demolition, then I feel that I should have this privilege also, because it's unfair for them to knock down their buildings and I'm not allowed to knock down my building. My building is 8 feet away. In the interim, while this is all going on, I think the present property should be maintained better. Thank you.
It is our intention in good faith to come in with a proposal that would seek to retain the house. But I wanted to be upfront with you because I don't want us to misrepresent, and I don't want you to approve something that we cannot do.
It's our understanding that the accurate fact is that there is a court order that required the city to issue a demolition permit because the property owner petitioned for that court order.
And
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
On 1A and 1B, the applicant's opposition to that actually came as somewhat of a surprise.
Yeah, and I.
And, you know, when we had recommended favorably for the substantial demolition of the 209 9th Street structure and the retention of just the facade and a 5-story building last time, it was done under the premise that they were going to restore the Coral Rock home. When we agreed to support the entire demolition of that structure this time around, it was done under the premise that they were going to slightly lower the structure like they were proposing now, but again, that they were going to restore it. If you include the word restore or reconstruction, you may very well end up with a completely vacant site.
You know, Tom's concern is that we end up with a vacant lot in the future. Period.
Well, it's not just that, but it's, you know, if you're going to require the replication of the Coral Rock home, what incentive is there to keep the Coral Rock home? If you're granting approval for the demolition of an otherwise viable 2-story Mediterranean revival building, and then you're saying, try to restore the Coral Rock home, but if you can't, then just replicate that. I mean, I don't think that we would. Are you comfortable allowing the 2-story Mediterranean revival building to be demolished as well as part of the replication of the Coral Rock home?
Can we include the 2-story building and the garage, right? I'm calling it a garage. I don't know whether it actually functioned that way, but it looks that way. Whether that we would require those to be replicated if, in fact, the Coral Rock house cannot be.
Yeah, but the 2-story home, the 2-story Mediterranean revival building is a viable building. It doesn't need to be demolished. Yeah, and what we're suggesting is that before they get to the point where they demolish the 2-story Mediterranean revival building, they first determine whether or not they can actually restore the Coral Rock home. If they determine that they can't, then maybe this board won't.
Can we go back to Mr. Hell's question?
If you go in that direction, what you've effectively done is said, either you restore or we're denying the project. You're going to lose the Coral Rock.
I mean, I would like to make, this is not the sense of personal.
If you go in that direction, what you've effectively done is said, either you restore or we're denying the project. You're going to lose the Coral Rock.
I mean, I would like to make, this is not the sense of
one of the old oldest freestanding structures on Miami Beach is no more. Crews started demolishing the Coral Rock House at 9th and Collins Avenue this afternoon. Developers and people who tried to save the house all watched together as bulldozers started tearing down the house rock by rock. The Coral Rock House was built way back in 1916 and is one of the last coral structures on Miami Beach, which is why so many people fought to save it.
Hello, members of the Historic Preservation Board. I hope you'll grant the rehearing today to Mr. Novick, as he's clearly proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that bad faith has permeated this process from the beginning. With the retention of the Mediterranean revival structure, people like my son can study and appreciate that building for generations to follow. Thanks.